Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me on the Slice of Healthcare podcast. I'm your host, Jared Taylor. Today I'm here with the co-founder and CEO of Vicarious Surgical, Adam Sachs. How are you today?
Hey, thanks so much for having me. I'm doing great.
I'm excited for us to chat. Love the background, by the way, for anyone who's watching the video also. You got the nice Vicarious Surgical logo and then some nice imagery. Love it. Yeah, as you move back in your chair to show up more. Love it. I'd love for us to kick things off. These are usually pretty quick, right? So if you could tell the audience a little bit about your background, and then we'll talk more about basically the why, how, what of Vicarious Surgical.
So, my background, I'm a mechanical engineer. I focused on biomedical engineering and robotics. I went to MIT, same place. It's where I met my co-founder. It's very much the cliche college roommate story, and the two of us both worked at Apple for a little while before founding this company. We pretty quickly realized, though, that our passion is medical devices, and started this company with our third co-founder, Dr. Barry Green.
Interesting. Met at MIT. Okay, you have the traditional the blueprint of basically how the best companies start, right? They meet in college and but you finished. Did you finish you finished all 4 years though, right? Yeah. So you went one step further by actually finishing and not dropping out. Okay, cool. Well, I'm really excited for us to chat today. I think it'd be great if you could talk about our core focus today, the company, a little bit about focus on three things: why, how, what. And I'll let you can describe it in whatever order you want, but I know the audience will be interested in hearing that.
Yeah. So the why, I think, is really all comes down to the background of how surgery is performed. So surgery has been performed in largely the same way for a long time. Open surgery is the original way of performing procedures, and with an open surgery, the surgeon will take a scalpel and quite literally open up the patient. The surgeon's then able to use their own hands to operate. They can see with their own eyes. But unfortunately, for most procedures, most of the injury to the patient comes from the incision itself, not from the work done on the organs. Actually, almost 20% complication rates just from that incision. So that's what minimally invasive surgery is all about: existing surgical robots that make 3 to 5 incisions, insert long, slender instruments through those incisions. And through the 3 to 5 incisions, they're able to perform procedures in a way that causes a lot less injury to the patient, but vastly increases complexity for the surgeon, who can no longer see naturally, has very limited motion capability. And with legacy robots, all the primary motion actually pivots about the incision site, which means that the surgeon actually defines the kinematic profile of the robot for every procedure. So there are some attempts at single port robots, but most of them are built on flexible robotic technology, which just have this impossible to solve set of challenges of being both, ironically, not sufficiently flexible, with very little motion capability, very low forces, and require large incisions. The smallest single port technology on the market currently is 2.5 centimeter incision size, which has 8.4% complication rates, as compared to about 1% for 12 millimeter incisions. So, we're really starting to get back up toward open surgery again. So that's really the why. It's all of these challenges have led us to perform mostly open surgery today. It's still the majority of procedures are done with open technique. And we really believe that the huge value in surgical robotics is in driving more adoption of great quality and minimally invasive care for patients and for surgeons. So when we started this project, we've been working on this full-time for 7 years, part-time far longer. We pretty quickly realized that there was no technology that existed that was able to achieve what we wanted from a robotic actuator level. Flexible robots are they're too flexible, too low forces, but actually not sufficiently flexible. And rigid robots have something called coupled motion. What the rigid robots are the technology behind most legacy systems on the market today. And with coupled motion, if you can see here, it's when you move one joint, the other joints also move, and you end up needing to do complex coordinated motion of all of the control cables in order to produce movement of just one joint. And it's a problem that you can solve in software, but the problem that's impossible to solve with coupled motion is that you also end up with an exponential buildup of force joint by joint as you go through the arms. That's why legacy systems have just 3 joints, just a wrist on a stick, need 1 millimeter diameter steel control cables. Our system has 0.5 millimeter diameter polymer cables that enable 9 joints, 9 degrees of freedom, wrists, elbows, and shoulders, giving surgeons this incredible level of dexterity that's just unprecedented today.
Adam, you just covered, which is great. You led into what my next question is going to be, and we don't need to go into as much detail because you already provided some great insights into this, but I was going to ask really, what are some of the benefits of robotic surgery? So you tied in, which was great, benefits of what Vicarious Surgical is doing. I don't know if there's any more that you want to add to that, just based on just the general scope as well of robotic surgery. But then a quick follow-up question that you can kind of, go off of is also, how do you think of robotic surgery will play a role in the future of healthcare as we look forward to, let's say, the next 5-10 years?
So, what we're really doing is focused on taking all of these limitations of existing robotic surgery and really resolving all of them. I mean, our goal is to create a system that's, not just lower cost and not just more portable and not just easier to set up and not just, easier to train on. It's actually all of those things, plus has a number of additional advantages. And we really believe that focusing on providing significant benefit to all of the patient, to the surgeon, to the hospital, and to the payer is what allows you to get past this couple percent adoption of robotics. We're at about 3.2% of addressable procedures being performed with surgical robots today, and after over 2 decades on the market. So we really believe by focusing on all of these things together with a technology that actually solves all of the problems, we'll be able to have significantly more adoption, and that's what we're excited about. I think when it comes to sort of specific advantages, it's really about providing clinical benefit for the patient and for the payer, right? Because reduced to take hernia repair, our beachhead procedure. Reduced recurrence of the hernia is money saved for the payer, and pain and suffering reduced for the patient. And then making those procedures be able to be done in significantly less time so that surgeons and hospitals can actually fit additional procedures per shift is additional revenue for the hospital. And at the end of the day, a lot of hospitals are maybe not for profit, but they still need to make money in order to keep the lights on and be able to keep achieving their mission and treating patients. So, yeah.
And thank you for that. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's where these hospitals make their revenue from. And obviously, you could probably comment even more on this. COVID, for many of these hospitals, they definitely saw a decline in those surgical procedures and had to postpone a lot of those procedures to later in the year to this year, right? And we're still, I think, many healthcare facilities are still behind. I think what's interesting is we're going to see some catch up now, but we're also going to see these additional procedures start to happen right now that we're not fully out of the pandemic. It's still very much here, but I still think we're probably in a better position as far as surgery goes, right? Procedures than we were last year. Is that fair to say, or do you see something different?
I'd say that's similar to what we've been seeing, but it's at the end of the day, I'd defer to the hospitals to kind of answer that in more detail. They're the ones who are really have their thumb on the pulse of the day-to-day volume of elective surgical procedures and the impact of COVID. I mean, we certainly do know that there was a trend of pausing elective procedures for a while, and then a buildup of caseload, and then seeing some of that actually being performed in particularly busy facilities.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you too. Like, I definitely have my own thoughts of where I think everything's at, but at the end of the day, I will leave it to the hospitals to to say how busy they are, right? I'm not going to speak for them either. Well, something I do want to cover too is you have some exciting news, right? You're going public, and I think it's in the next 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, so we'll be going public on Friday, September 17th. That's next Friday. That'll be the closing of the merger. The shareholder vote is 2 days before that, so September 15th. And we're incredibly excited about this. It's just just over 1 week away at this point. It's been a long road, and we still have a lot of work to do. But we're really excited about a number of things about this transaction, not just the capital and access to the public markets, but importantly, kind of the visibility and communication that this lets us have. We've been in stealth mode for most of the 7 years that we've been doing this. And frankly, it's been really fun over the last few months to be able to have conversations like this, be able to share what we're doing with the world, be able to engage with surgeons and hospitals and get their feedback, get their thoughts, get really show everybody what we're doing.
And you're going public through I think it's important to note, right, through a SPAC.
Yeah, so it'll be a SPAC merger with D8 Holdings. They're a firm with a ton of financial expertise, and frankly, we're really excited about the expertise they bring. We bring kind of the medical device experience to the table, and they're bringing public markets financial expertise. So it's going to be a really great partnership going forward. They're based in Hong Kong, and they're already using a ton of their connections to help us build out the details of how we enter into the Asian markets, specifically mainland China.
Yeah, I mean, what you've built has global reach, right? So it's super helpful, I think, to have a financial partner like that will also help you get into those foreign markets, especially one as big as the Hong Kong market. One thing I want to just kind of ask before we wrap things up, Adam, is after going public, what's next for the company through your lens?
So we're growing at a pretty incredible clip right now, hiring like crazy, and building out kind of the final details of the product, the manufacturing facility, some early partnerships with hospitals and surgeons to get all the feedback and all of the details that we need, and regulatory engagement. So we have a lot of work over the next 2 years till we file for FDA clearance. And over those next 2 years, we're really excited to be a public company and be able to not only execute on our plan, but also share all of the updates and the exciting news, with the world.
Well, we wish you all the best of luck on going public and the continued success with the company. And hopefully we can have you on again real soon, and we can talk about some of the other things that you're working on and some new updates with Vicarious Surgical. So thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Really looking forward to the next one.